Hey everybody, welcome back to Top Ends with Twins. This week we're going to do a little bit of a special episode where it's just going to be me, Paul, alone on the pod. Luke is off traveling with family and he is not available this week, which it's Thanksgiving week, so completely understandable. So you're just going to get basically a monologue of me trying not to veer too far off subject because Luke's always really good at pulling me back in and everything. So it's just going to be me this week. And we decided for the format of this, instead of me just kind of rambling on, which is a strong possibility, um, we decided that Luke would write some questions, kind of pose some different topics that be good for FPL instances. Sorry about that. I just had a bug flying around me, but yeah. So it's going to be kind of catered around questions going into game week 13 and some different factors at play. But yeah, let's do a little status check real quick on Luke and I's teams. We'll start off with Luke. So he had 49 points last week. He got a clean sheet from Kukurea, Gahey, and then goals from Enzo, Yermi Pino, which is really good. DEFCON points from Saka. Ended on 49 points, a green arrow for him. So looked pretty good. Pretty decent week there for Luke. And then if we look at my team, I was kind of really in the same ballpark. I had 52 points. A majority of my returns, I mean, Munoz with 14 was great. Should have captained him this week. Sanchez with the clean sheet. Richards with the clean sheet. The Crystal Palace boys just keep delivering for me. I am worried about them heading into the festive fixtures, but they should be okay. I mean, they're still playing. They're still a lot of the Munoz, Richards. They're playing a full 90 minutes. The one I am worried about is Mateta. I think he was subbed out on 59 this week, so he only got 1 point instead of the two. Missed a pretty easy chance you'd probably expect him to finish. So a little worried about that one right now. Later in the podcast, I will kind of discuss some other forward options, specifically my pick of three forwards that would probably be in my team. And we'll go over that later, but I'm not going to spoil anything yet. So yeah, I also had DEFCON points with Saka. I had Mullen in my team who got an assist and 4 points because he was brought in off the bench. Really hoping to see him start this week whenever they play Wolves at home. Ollie Watkins has been horrible, so maybe we'll see Mullen starting at the 9, get a couple of returns against the relegation side Wolves. So we will see. Hopefully that pans out for me. Besides that, Semenyo was also my team this week. He blanked, didn't play. We were worried about the injury concerns. Turns out, I think it was an illness. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going into the next game week. He should be fine. But we'll have to really keep an eye on Ariola's press conference and see exactly what updates we can get before the game week 13 deadline. But yeah, that's a little status update on both our teams. Luke is kind of, I would say, in our mini league that we have. Let me see. He's currently 26 points behind me. And then there's Kyle, who is struggling a little bit right now. But he's doing okay. FPL is a marathon, right? We always say that. It's not a sprint. So kind of a good little pivot point there that if you're not doing really what you want to right now in your mini league or your overall rank, now is a great time with the festive fixtures coming up when things get really condensed to make up those early season losses that you have. It's a really good chance to kind of, I wouldn't say differentials, but to look for players that you know are going to be playing a full 90 minutes. So teams that aren't in Europe, teams that are maybe out of cup competitions, with players that are consistently returning and playing 90 minutes, those are going to be really good avenues to kind of keep your team growing and also, climbing up those rankings. So, yeah, but let's go ahead and jump right into those questions. Let's see. So, number one is, and by the way, these, like I said from earlier, these are from Luke. He says, "Is Haaland a viable triple captain for Leeds at home?" I have a resounding yes to that. Haaland playing Leeds at home is it, I mean, it is a resounding yes, but I would say that City are not in their best form right now. I think 3 weeks ago we were sitting here saying City are back. They're going to be pushing for the title, which they still kind of are, but they've kind of stagnated a little bit at this point in time. So, sorry, we could see a Haaland performance where he comes in, scores 3 goals. You put that triple captain on, it works out really well. And the thing to remember too is that at this point, if you still have a triple captain left, you really should be factoring in that performance. What was it earlier in the season? Let's see. Sorry, usually there's 2 of us, we can fill the dead space with somebody talking, but if it's just me, let's see. So Haaland, yeah, when he had a 16-pointer against Burnley, I think that was a really popular week to triple captain, and it worked out really well. He did poach, I think, a late assist and a late goal that really helped him get to that 16-point total. So in your thought process, you should probably be trying to beat that 16-point week because you're already at a deficit from what Haaland did that one week if you didn't triple captain. But I think Leeds at home, Fulham away is sneaky. I've heard a lot of people talking about Sunderland at home. I mean, Sunderland are just a lot better team, I think, than Fulham and even Leeds at home. Like, and there's a also prospective fixture in game week 17 where they play West Ham at home. If it were me, if I'm a triple captain left, I would be choosing between Leeds at home, Fulham away, and then also West Ham at home because all 3 of those, Haaland could easily return. I don't think we're going to see any movement really with. I think City almost have a. They have a lot of their attackers back from injury. So Marmoush is back. Of course, Rodri's still out. So kind of want to see a little more stability there. But Haaland in the form he's in right now for club and country, any given week, I think you could play a triple captain and it could work out well for you. So it's an easy yes. I gave a very roundabout answer, but yeah, I would highly recommend it. Oh, and then also, I took a little note. I took some notes heading into this, but I had a little sneaky idea of a super differential triple captaincy use. And so one of my favorite players in FPL last season, this season, is Munoz at Crystal Palace. He is just kind of a free ranging defender. He's going to show up in the box. He's going to be pressing the other team's center backs. He's going to be everywhere on the pitch. And he kind of does have a knack for scoring goals for a right back. He has the ability to hit DEFCON. He has the ability to get 2 assists in one game, possibly more if Mateta was more clinical. So in game week 14, they play Burnley away. That's good. That is Crystal Palace plays Burnley away. I think Munoz could be really, really sneaky to triple captain that week, just because I mean this is a defender that has. Let's see. Let's pull him up. So he has a 14-pointer, a 10-pointer, a 9-pointer. And to be honest, there's weeks where I mean he had the 10-pointer against Bournemouth where they gave up 3 goals and he had 2 assists. You throw a clean sheet into the mix there, and he is absolutely hauling. He's on 3 bonus, and then that turns from a 10-pointer into what, 19 maybe, somewhere 19, 18 in that range. A triple captain on that is just that'd be crazy. But I think that's kind of sneaky. Could work out, could not. We'll see. Just an idea to throw out there at people. All right, let's go to Lucas's next question. All right, so question number 2. Do you think free hit is a good call this week? I would say yes. I'm not going to say yes to every question, though. But to this one, yes. And a majority of that is just because it's situational. So looking at your team, this is a little bit of a weird week with Arsenal and Chelsea playing each other. And then let's see. Let's look at the other fixtures. Okay, yeah. and there are really good fixtures to target too this week. So I mean, if you're heavy on Arsenal, heavy on Chelsea, that is going to be a weird fixture. I still would say Arsenal are still going to play really well against Chelsea. Enzo probably could still show up with a goal. So if you have a Chelsea attacking asset, may not be bad. I would probably not be owning a Chelsea defender, which we'll circle back to that real quick. But yeah, and then you have, let's see, Liverpool playing West Ham, Villa playing Wolves, and Spurs playing Fulham. So yeah. I mean, to me, I think a free hit this week is really good because you can triple up on City, you can triple up on Liverpool, even if they aren't playing very well. I think they still will perform pretty well this weekend against a West Ham team that I just don't believe in at all. Even if they are playing better right now, but I'm still not a believer. And then Spurs after, yeah, I can't even say it. But in Villa against Wolves, I really like that fixture for them. Like Rodgers was with 2 goals last weekend, could be a good fit for your team. Mullen for a price enabler, I think sneakily could be starting in the 9 position for Villa. We'll see what Unai does. And then Palace against United, I just love Crystal Palace, so I think they're always a good shout. So yes, I do think free hit 13 is a viable play. It, like I said, it is very situational depending on your team. So really, whatever you want to go, however you want to go about it. If you have any ideas or you kind of want to throw stuff at us, you can follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky. We're not as active on Instagram, but you could always send us a message or just tag us in something, and we would love to just have a conversation because that's what me and Luke do all the time. We just talk about FPL, and it's great. But yeah, we'd love to talk with anybody else about it too. So let's see. Let's go to question number 3. Like I said, this is a little Chelsea callback from earlier in the pod. Number 3, what should managers that own Reece James do with him in their team? I think he's a strong sell. So Reece James is a player that I've appreciated for quite a while now. I think as a lot of people have, but when you see him getting rotated out, subbed out at the end of the first half, Chelsea are balancing Champions League. They're balancing a ton of different other fixtures right now. They do have the squad depth, but with Reece James, like I want to see the heavy minutes, and I also want to see him consistently returning, which he has been a good pick so far this season. But once that rotation hits, I like because I think if Chelsea's smart, they're not going to push him. They don't want to Reece. They would prefer 60 to 65 minutes for Reece James every game than pushing him for a month of the season. Then he's out for the rest of the year whenever you get to have the fixtures in Champions League and also in the Premier League that just carry more weight, when you get later in the season and you want your best players on the pitch. So I would really doubt if I had him on my team, he would be a sell because our players have to have those minutes to get contributions. So to me, sell. Okay. So we're going to talk about ideal front threes here. We're talking forwards. So without a doubt, Haaland has to be in there, right? He is in world-killing form right now. He's slowed down a little bit over the past 3 game weeks. Let's see. We're gonna go to FootMob. Sorry, killing time here. Okay, so we're looking at City's fixtures. If we look at Haaland, oh wow, okay. So Haaland actually didn't start in the Champions League fixture today against Bayer Leverkusen, where City did lose 2-0. That's something that I was busy at work today, and I just figured out by looking at my phone. So looks like Haaland missed a couple good chances. 0.41 xG. Wow. Okay, let's look at his fixtures though real quick. Yeah, so since the international break, he has not scored. In the international break, he scored 4 goals over 2 games, and then He had one against Liverpool, one against Dortmund, two against Bournemouth, and then didn't have a return against Villa, one goal against Villarreal, two against Everton. So he's been in crazy form, but maybe slowing down a little bit right now. I'm sure he's going to find it soon. If I were a Leeds fan, I'd be terrified to play him after him not scoring twice. I still think, like we talked about earlier, the triple captain is a really good selection this weekend if you still have it. There's some other windows like we discussed, but it's going to be scary for people to look at that. So Haaland for sure in the top and the three forwards. The next forward, I think Thiago is a great pick this season. Let's see. So Thiago is currently for forwards sitting behind Haaland with 64 points. For reference, Haaland's on 104 points, just to show like how dominant he's been this season. The next forward after him is João Pedro, and then the fourth on our list, who actually I think should be your third forward right now, is Danny Welbeck. But to go back to Thiago, so he has weeks of 6 points, 6 points, 13, 8, 5, 13, and 4. This past game week, he converted a pen, and then the 92nd minute, missed another pen, which is honestly very uncharacteristic. Verbruggen apparently has only saved 3 other pens before this in his whole professional career, so the numbers really did screw us over as Thiago manager. I say us because I also own Thiago. I think he's a really good pick. Brentford are posing a lot of problems to teams right now. They're just scoring, kind of putting teams in some really uncomfortable situations. I think it's honestly reminiscent of their team from last season and 2 seasons ago, where they just put these teams, like Thomas Frank set his team up in a way where teams are turning the ball over in really weird places, and then Brentford kind of put them in uncomfortable situations, and then there's a foul in the box. They get a pin. Thiago's been very clinical so far this season. He's sitting on, sitting on 9 goals on 7.56 xG. I mean, he's outperforming a tiny bit, but really not that much. So those are some pretty good numbers by Thiago. Let's look at our third forward though, Danny Welbeck. So last week he had 8 points against Brentford. Let's see, a goal, 2 bonus, XG of 0.74. Let's see, and he also has weeks of 6, 6, 13, 11. So he's somebody that he's kind of really he didn't have a return until game week 6. And since then, he's kind of been on a tear where there's only been 2 weeks where he hasn't returned. So this is somebody that I always love bringing this up, but Harry Kane, somebody that just is like consistent return. And then you look up and you have him for 10 game weeks and he has 60 to 65 points in that time frame, just chipping away, which to me, I mean, if he can finish around maybe like 190, 180, even into the 200s for returns as a forward, that's great. Because I mean, you have Haaland, you have somebody to pair with Haaland who's going to consistently return. I would say Danny Welbeck doesn't have a super high upside. I think he's usually 1 or 2 goals. Doesn't usually provide too many assists as well, but the consistency there is key. Brighton are playing really well right now, so I really love Danny Welbeck, Thiago, and Haaland for the front 3. If I had to pick anybody else, for upside, it would probably be Mateta, or consistent. If we're going another consistent pick, Voltemade. But I have Mateta in my team now. Voltemade came out of my team a couple weeks ago for Thiago. I just don't believe in Newcastle as much this season, but they seem like they're playing better now, even though they just lost in Champions League today. So kind of it really just depends on who you believe in as in team's form, where you see their seasons going over the next like 6 to 5 game weeks, you know. All right, let's see. Okay, so Luke did ask the next question is Name the 3 most frustrating players in FPL this season. To me, I think there is a clear, straightforward answer. Number 1, Isak/Verds. To me, both of these players are, it's just kind of thrown in the basket of Liverpool being disappointing overall this season, but both of them are players. I mean, Isak is somebody that's shown in the Premier League that he is a top level player, but hasn't been able to find it at Liverpool yet. You could say it's down to the system, it's down to selection. There's so many things, so many factors at play. He started out the season hurt. It's a completely new environment for him. To me, I think he will, like I've been saying this for weeks, they are going to figure it out. Verts falls under that category. He just had a really good international window. He got hurt. I think it's a muscle injury. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for. I'm not going to say because I don't want to steer anybody the wrong way. I just think they've just been disappointing, and that's just part of it. Sometimes stuff like that just takes a little while to figure out, and that's just part of it. Okay, my second most disappointing player, Cole Palmer. This is somebody that had, I think, one open play return in the past. It's like he has a couple open play returns since January of last year. So he really struggled the second half of the season last year. This year really wasn't any different, and now he's struggling with injuries. Apparently, he hurt himself playing FIFA. Was a rumor. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going on in that situation? But he just needs to be on the field. I really do believe in Cole Palmer. He's one of those players where stuff just magically happens when the ball's at his feet. Chelsea just need to get him healthy. He should play out just fine for them, but you got to be on the pitch for that. So to me, that's disappointing. Number 3 on the list, so most frustrating players, Ollie Watkins. He just hasn't had it this year. I can't give exact definitive reasons why, but there's been no production. Villa did really struggle to start the season. They're now currently up to 4th or 5th in the table, so slowly figuring out, but the goals are not coming from Watkins. The assists are not coming from Watkins. So this is somebody at the price point of, I think he's 8.5. Yeah, so Watkins is 8.5. He's on 29 points for the season. So right between Evan Nelson, who has barely played this season, and Foster, who is Burnley's backup striker with Fleming. Calvert-Lewin is 3 points below him for context, who, let's just point out, was in Luke's team for a little while, which I told him not to do it. Just saying, I told him not to do it. And then Luke also asked for the 3 most surprising players in FPL this season. I don't have this prepared. I did not read it very well, so I'm just going to go off the cuff on this. The 3 most surprising. Let's see. Let's look at. We're going to pull up the. Okay, I would say. To me, I think Thiago is a little surprising. Let's see. Caicedo's goal returns are something that I did not expect. I don't think a lot of people expected it. I think we're kind of seeing more of a balancing out to what he was doing earlier in the season, but really checks the box of surprising for the amount of returns that Caicedo's produced earlier this season. Let's see. Also, probably Rice. I would say Rice having substantially more FPL points than Saka. I mean, a lot of that comes from, I think he scored maybe 2 or 3 goals, had maybe in those corners that he's playing in. I mean, it's very hard to defend, and that may be stagnating a little bit with Gabriel being out for a while. He is Arsenal's figure point on those corner attacks, but Arsenal are a team that is adaptable, so it wouldn't surprise me to see to see somebody else just step into that Gabriel role and start scoring more from corners. But um, yeah, I'd say Rice, Caicedo, probably just honestly, I would say default wise, just the DMs that are consistently producing. I think DEFCON obviously has changed FPL for the better, in my opinion. I think it's been great that we have different vehicles to get points in our team. But the goals too and the assists from these different defensive midfielders is not something that we're really used to. Um, but yeah, let's go to the next one real quick. Okay, so this is the last question and my favorite question that Luke sent my way. It is, are you better at FPL than Luke? And then how about Kyle? Um, I'm not gonna give you a jokey answer. I'm gonna say that I think Luke's really good at finding value in players that other people don't see. I think he's really good at like looking at numbers, analyzing that stuff, and I know he's a lot better at that than I am. Kyle is really good at making decisions that I think play out better long term. Sometimes he will take negative hits to bring in players, which we all do it. But I think Kyle's pretty good at making practical decisions and kind of playing FPL in a way where he doesn't just look at like the short term view, you know. Um, but in saying that, I am beating both of them right now, so that the numbers don't lie. But it's a long season, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself there. But yeah, those were just kind of some different questions heading into game week 13. We're going to keep this one pretty short. If you have any questions for me about what you think your team should look like going into game week 13, kind of teams in form, players that should be targeted. We've kind of discussed some different options in this podcast, but if there's any big gaps about, like Manchester United assets or Brighton, where do you go there, or just anything you could think of heading into the next game week, free hit teams, send it our way. Like I said, we're very active on Twitter, on Blue Sky. Feel free to share stuff to us if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think is going to happen in the next game week. What I missed talking about in this pod? If I rambled too long, who knows? The possibilities are endless. So just if you feel like ever engaging with this, just go for it. That's the main gist of that. But I appreciate everybody listening to this, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving with their families. Really enjoys that time away. Try not to be too engaged with your FPL team when you're sitting there at Thanksgiving dinner, because that one does not go over well, let me tell you. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody listening. And like I said, if you need anything, just reach out to us on socials, and we will be back next week with another podcast. Thank you.